Really?
How do we know Chantal?
For real. At least you're self-aware of that. So let's see. Is Chantal broke or is she buying Salah on payments? I never know which it is. Gore World talks out of both sides. Okay. I thought they were talking more about her money. I guess not. Oh, it just cracks me up how people criticize you when they are likely in so much debt themselves. Well, yeah, let's get into it. I'm tired of thinking of that video. Been trying to get it made for like a month now.
Hell isn't scamming Salah. Yeah, I'm totally using him right now.
You use each other, I think.
So, no, I'm kidding. I love him.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm not using him. He's not using me. Okay. Keep telling yourself that. It's real love.
His main goal. He's rather patient. Yeah.
He can be patient. Look at him. What's he going to do with his time? If it's not to wait around.
He's done other things financially. Helped a lot of people in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Tanya.
He's a good guy,
He's
huh?
smart with money.
That's good.
Yep.
Yep. Real smart. Okay, so this is the first. This is the first document. Chantal has had 2 bankruptcies. She's had a total of 2 bankruptcies. Okay, this is the first one. So I guess other creators have been reluctant to post this information anywhere because of a privacy violation or whatever. And the Canadian attorney has informed me that, and I did find this to be the case, that this is publicly available by literally anybody. You don't even have to be in Canada. I was able to download her records with, it was like $8 Canadian, $5.60 something US. And it was publicly available. I didn't have to say that I was an attorney or that I was anybody other than who I am. Okay. So yeah, I've had this for a little while. Because the process in Canada is much different than it is in the US. So it took me some time to wrap my head around the process first. I asked a lot of questions to the attorney. She answered them. She sent me some information to look into myself. And yeah, so here we go. Okay, so this is the Bankruptcy and Insolvency Records Search, which is publicly available. And we have her name up at the top. So we have Sarow Chantal Marie, and birth date 3/28/1984, province Ontario. Okay, and it's a big wide document, so it's kind of hard to maneuver. Okay, so this is the first one. This is the first bankruptcy. She's on her second right now. So it has the anyone can look this up, literally. All you need is this number that starts with 33 if you want to look it up yourself, but this is exactly what you'll get. So this is like her case number, essentially. So it's got her full name here. Date of birth, Ontario. I did remove the street address. However, it is a street address that most people know, especially if you were around for the Marty thing. You know this address, but I took it out just in case, whatever. So the estate type is bankruptcy. Okay. This was in 2012. This was the first bankruptcy in 2012. In 2012, she claimed $60,745 in bankruptcy that she was unable to pay. Unable to pay too poor. Hashtag UPTTP, I think. Her total assets, this was in 2012. So this was before YouTube, I'm pretty sure. Total assets at that time, mostly food, probably, yeah. Total assets were $20,023, which the attorney said it was probably her vehicle. This was probably her vehicle, her only assets. Now, in Canada, you do have the right to keep a vehicle, your home, but anything excess like a boat, a second home, an RV, those kinds of things, they would want you to liquidate before claiming bankruptcy. So Now, what's interesting here, okay, is that it shows that the bankruptcy was discharged. Discharge status was automatic, and it was discharged on May 18th, 2013. So I asked the attorney, does this mean that she paid the amount that she owed? No, it does not. So in Canada, they give you all kinds of chances. I mean, they really give you a lot of chances to screw up financially. So for this one, they just wiped it clean. She didn't pay any of this. She didn't have to pay any of it. She blew it off, essentially. They allow that. They allow it. Like, I probably still have the screen. Like, I was all over the website taking screenshots of this stuff. So they allow that. So she had almost $61,000 in, like, whatever goods, services, whatever credit card bills that they're not getting paid for those. Those debtors are not getting paid. So in Canada, in order to file for bankruptcy, you have to hire a licensed insolvency trustee. The trustee applies for the bankruptcy on your behalf to the government. Now you work with the trustee one-on-one, and you have to hire them. You have to pay for them. And you bring them everything. Like, here's all my bills. Here's, like, everything. Here are my assets. Here are my bank accounts. Here's everything. And they'll go through everything to see if you're even eligible to claim bankruptcy. Sometimes they'll work out a payment plan. Like, if you have assets and if you make enough money, they have, like, a chart for each year that if you make a certain amount, anything over that is considered surplus income. The surplus income is what can be used to pay down the bankruptcy, and that's how they determine your monthly payment. Okay, so she had a trustee, and I took out all of their information. I don't think there's any reason to contact these poor people. I mean, it's not their fault they're involved with Chantal. They'll find everything out. So the person for the first bankruptcy that she blew off ended up discharging her August 10th, 2015. So they gave her additional time to, like, get it together, and she didn't. She just didn't. That's the first loan. That's the first bankruptcy loan, sorry. Okay. The next one is 2018. Okay, 2018. And same thing. So, oh, yeah, it's been like a month to the day almost that I pulled this information. You can see March 1st. That's how long I've been working on it in my spare time. So same name, same date of birth, same province. And then we have the BIA estate number, which anyone can use to look up this information. Just, it's like an administrative fee just to help them, you know, whatever. $8 Canadian. Brianna, yes, I totally believe that. But in Canada, that's not the case. So these are not going to be medical bills that she hasn't paid. Yeah. So this is like credit card bills and food and all kinds of stuff like that. So we have her full name again. This time the address is in Cornwall, Ontario. And this one was filed in 2018, 11/29/2018 for $47,087. $47,000. At the time, her total assets were calculated to be $19,550. So we don't know exactly what that was comprised of, because I think Ham and Bean said there's no way that Kia was valued at that. I don't think so either. So this is still pending. This is her active bankruptcy right now. So conditional discharge, meaning this has not been paid off yet. Conditional discharge, it's still open. She still has not paid this, okay? So she had to hire a new trustee because the other guy who she blew off discharged her and was like, look, I'll take the fee, but you never got back to me. You didn't comply with anything, so I'm not working with you. So she has a new trustee now. We don't know, Desiree. We don't know the details of the money, how it was spent. We don't know. But I did read that the trustee, one of their responsibilities is to file the person's taxes on their, like they're responsible for doing that. Now, here's where we have a little bit of conspiracy, okay? And I try to make it very clear when it's speculation, conspiracy. These bankruptcy documents are legit. I did download these from the Canadian government website that was, provided to me, and these are legit. What's not proven and not necessarily legitimate that we know of, okay? It's a little bit of speculation that I'm going to share with you. And this was provided by the Canadian attorney who I've been talking with about this. So, she believes, okay, this is really interesting. This part isn't like, the bankruptcy, like, yeah, whatever. It's not even that much money, really, in the grand scheme. Like, people that lose their homes, they owe a lot more money. The attorney's theory is that when she started making money on YouTube, now I wasn't around from the very beginning, so the OGs have to like chime in and tell me around what year she really started pulling in money. Okay, this is all government. This is all government stuff. So everything, they're going to know everything. So they're going to know when she started making money on YouTube, the Canadian government, the insolvency, whatever, bankruptcy, whatever, right? If she filed her taxes those years where she was making a lot of money, the insolvency, bankruptcy, whatever, would know how much she was making per year from YouTube, because she wasn't working for a Canadian employer. So no employer in Canada was reporting her earnings. It was coming, we get a 1099 from YouTube. It's an independent contractor. Well, in the US, we get a 1099. It's probably a different form in Canada, but it's independent contractor. You're not an employee. So YouTube was not required to report to Canada what her earnings were. The only way Canada would know what her earnings were would be if she filed her taxes. However, we know that she did not file her taxes for a couple of years in a row. And it is the attorney's theory, speculation, possibility that she didn't file her taxes for this reason, because then Canada would know how much she's making, and that she probably would not be eligible to have this amount written off, essentially, and have her pay a portion of it or whatever. They would know, because of that surplus income I talked about a few minutes ago, that every year they put out a chart. It's a different amount every year of how much, like a family of two, a family of one can make in a year. And anything over that is considered surplus income. So those years, she would have had a lot of surplus income.
We don't use the air fryer for frozen food always.
At least.
Leandity_G tipped $7.99 through Super Chat. Some money for chewies for the doggies.
Aww.
Red heart emoji.
Thank you, Leanda. I appreciate that. Yeah, they could use some. Thank you so much. You're going to have to get out of town, though.
Oh, pizza flavor? Pizza chips. Get out of my town.
Yeah, that is right. I took off the trustees' names because I really don't see a reason to harass these people. They're doing a paid service, and they're just people. I don't see a need to contact these people at all. So, the attorney's theory is that because you guys were asking about surplus income. So, there will be, I should remove the postal code. The postal code. You know that we all know the address, right? The postal code of Cornwall. I don't think that's necessary, but good looking out. Yeah, the postal code is there, but like, the postal code. It's Cornwall. I mean, it is Cornwall. It's got the street address. It's Cornwall. Yeah. Oh, yeah, AC, I understand. I'm fully comfortable with putting this on the screen. Fully comfortable. It is not a privacy issue, and I confirmed this with the attorney, who is a Canadian attorney, because this information is all publicly available. Because her bankruptcy could potentially be an issue for anyone who wants to extend credit to her. So anyone can access this information. But she has threatened to do privacy strikes on channels, and I am not concerned at all. I welcome her to try.
I can't afford food. You know?
I don't know why you would be doxing her in my chat, however, AC. So you are no longer welcome here. We don't do doxing here. Doxing is a pretty serious thing. I've been doxed myself. I would never allow even someone like Chantal to be doxed. I don't allow it, period. And me putting up Cornwall, Ontario with this postal code does not dox Chantal. I looked up the postal code myself, and there are several addresses on the same block that it could potentially be. It is not a one specific address. The person who was warning me against a privacy strike, of all things, put Chantal's mother's address in the chat. Like, what? So, that's not acceptable to do, period. So they were removed. So anyway, Cornwall, Ontario. The whole town is one postal code, Anna Gags. Postal code is just a region in the city. Come find me. Yeah, Cypher, that's pretty, it's a good size area. I don't even know. So, and I didn't have to take out the street address. I chose to do that myself. I didn't have to do that. And as I said, Chantal is more than welcome to attempt to privacy strike me. I will ignore it, and I will not receive a strike. This is verifiably public information. A licensed attorney in Canada told me that, and I was able to access it myself with no problem. No, I don't tolerate doxing, and, to call me out for potentially doxing and then to dox her yourself. That's sounds like a beezer to me. Okay. So, no, I'm not concerned in the least. Not at all. All right. So back to the conspiracy theory, which is actually something interesting to discuss. Okay, which my dogs didn't think so, but I do. Yeah, someone put her whole street address in the chat. That's right, Lord Butsy Wutsy. And that's what I deleted. It was a whole street address. Like, that's not necessary to do. I took it out. But, All right. The theory is that she blew off the first trustee. She didn't pay her taxes. She didn't file her taxes so that government would not know how much she was making, because they would have wanted more money from her. So a surplus of money. What is a surplus of money? So they take basically your living expenses. So your mortgage or rent, your utilities, gas for the car, food, all that stuff that you need to survive. And they assign a dollar amount to that, depending on how many people live in the household. If your expenses reach a certain amount, and what you're bringing in, your income, reaches a certain amount, that all of the expenses are covered, and then you have all this like expendable cash, which you could spend like doing anything and it wouldn't affect you because all of your expenses are taken care of. That's considered the surplus. Like, you make enough to cover your expenses, but all this extra, you're going to put that towards your bankruptcy. You're not going to go and get DoorDash every day and go out and buy clothing and all that stuff. You're going to put it towards your bankruptcy. So they look at that, and that's what helps to determine her monthly payment. Oh, absolutely, Mare Bear. I agree with you. I know. Yeah, it's true. Hey, Elaine Gray, welcome. Welcome back to the nest. So yeah, we're talking about Chantal's bankruptcies. She has had 2. So the first one was discharged. Like, oh, well, you screwed up. Okay, so they wiped away the whole debt. She didn't even follow up, nothing. Canada gives you that opportunity to just screw up really bad one time, and that's it. The second one, they will only allow, and if you've already had one discharge, which she has, the second one, they will give you 24 months. 24 months to pay it back. Up to 36 months if you need to. So this $47,000 needs to be paid within 2 years. However, we can see that this was filed in 2018. So this should have been paid off in 2020. But what happened in 2020? Oh, geez. Chantal, cha-ching, started making money on YouTube. And she didn't file her taxes. So the government didn't know how much she was bringing in. And whatever she reported in 2018 as her income, she just that's all they knew. They didn't know that she was then making 20 grand a month. Because that's a lot of surplus income that's over and above your expenses. You're being kiss harassed? Oh, but it's a good one if it's from your pooch, right? Right, Militia? Yeah. And this was, like I said, this was not, I don't even think the attorney gave me the website to find this. I looked it up, it was very easy to obtain. So she didn't want to put the $20K or, $15K towards her bankruptcy because she was busy spending it on food, clothing, and drugs and Natter's rent. So she didn't file her taxes. So no one knew that she was making this amount because she wasn't employed by a Canadian company. It's YouTube and you're an independent contractor. So YouTube does not report your earnings to Canada. Like, oh, here's what she made. So Canada doesn't know. If she doesn't file her taxes, they don't know anything. So she didn't file. Now, this is all speculation. This part, all speculation. We have no proof of any of this, but this is what the attorney thinks, and the attorney has dealt with bankruptcy and insolvency cases before. So that's what she thinks happened here. Why does she still owe it in 2025, 7 years later, when it's supposed to be paid off within 2 years? So blew off paying taxes because she didn't want them to know that she had all this extra income that she could easily pay this $47,000 within a year at the most, if she wasn't, doing all that other stuff. And then she doesn't pay taxes. She's paying, or not paying, okay, her monthly, whatever she was supposed to pay towards this. And then she leaves the country. So they really don't know what's going on with her at all. Now, one of the responsibilities of, they call it the bankrupt, the person who's filing for bankruptcy, they call them the bankrupt. The bankrupt is responsible for reporting to the trustee any change of address, any change of income, any change of living situation. If you have someone move in with you, like Salah, and if Salah is making his own income, when I talked about that number that they have their chart for, if you make this amount, you're allowed, you have your expenses, that amount is more if you have 2 people in a household because you have more money coming in and probably similar expenses. You're not going to have 2 heat bills, 2 light bills, 2, you have more surplus income for the household. So you're supposed to report that. And I don't know if they would have needed Pete's information or if she was living with Pete's at this point. I don't know. No, she doesn't owe $19,000. She owes $47,087. So her total liability is $47,000, and they estimated her total assets to be $19,550. I don't know how, but. and this was filed in November 29th, 2018. Now, let me show you something else. I hope this is all making sense, because it was taking me a while to put the video together, because I felt like I had to understand it fully first before I could convey it, because I was getting confused with a number of things, because it's very different. I've never known anybody personally who has filed for bankruptcy, and in Canada it is different. We don't know what type of debt it is. They don't specify. We don't know. So, this is a receipt, we call a quote-unquote receipt, that she provided to us herself. She put this on her community tab. Thanks a lot, Elaine. Go tell her what we're doing. Elaine! So in Canada, you can file for bankruptcy like 3 or 4 times. It's wild. And the first one, they just like, oh, whatever, try again. They just write it off. And your debtors are screwed. Now, okay, there are certain agencies or companies, such as the Canada Revenue Agency, yes, that's right, Patricia, who can contest them writing it off. Like, no, she owes us money. We're going to get the money. We're not allowing her to back out of this. Certain agencies or companies can come forward and be like, we're contesting it. And the judge can choose whether or not to discharge the bankruptcy. No one's going in timeout. It's okay. That person just got blocked from the channel entirely. Doxing is not tolerated, even if it is Chantal. I'm not going to be responsible for putting people's information out there. It's ridiculous. Person is nuts. So Chantal put this out herself, and I don't know why she did, because she wanted to say, she was saying, oh no, Salah makes money and I make money and we're not well off, but we're not poor. Like, what? Who cares? Your debit card gets declined at McDonald's. Clearly there's an issue. Okay, clearly there's a problem. No one's lucky. You don't have to worry. You're fine here. You haven't done anything. Relax. So it's usually not this tense in the nest, okay? I haven't blocked anyone in months. But that was ridiculous. No problem, brilliant butterfly. No problem. Thank you, Trauma Queen. I appreciate that. Yeah. And yeah, I need to have everything before I present it to you. I'm not just going to willy-nilly. So yeah. Okay. She put this out here herself. All of these black boxes she put on here. Okay. So apparently this is supposed to prove, I have no idea why she did this. This is supposed to prove that she makes a payment of $1,700 a month. And I don't know if she even said, she just said it was for her responsibilities or her liabilities or something. So, Dancita, I'm going to go over this with you because I know it just looks like a mess. So at the top it says financial institution information. Financial institution is all blacked out. Then it says payment instructions. No, Elaine, no one's blocked. Calm down, relax. Everyone needs to relax. It's okay. It's okay. Seriously, we're very laid back here. Except when no one's going to dox people in here. We'll never do that. It's exactly, Lexi Lime. Exactly. We'll post this, but won't tell her visa status because it's private. But we're basically seeing instructions to her bank of how much to pay out monthly. Well, how is this our business? How is this our business? Okay. Calm your tits. That's right. Get your sports bras on. Okay. So we have payment instructions, the date of the payment, the number of payments, the frequency, the payment amount, and the total. So this shows on some date that was blacked out, we don't know, she made a lump sum payment. We don't even know what that payment amount was, but a lump sum payment was made. Then she has the next line, a monthly payment that comes out of her bank account, her personal bank account, for $1,700 monthly, every month, until a certain total is met, but that's blocked out. The total of all payments, blacked out. We don't know. We don't know. And the very bottom says payments returned to the financial institution will not be represented for payment. 3 return payments may result in the removal of the pre-authorized payment program. So if anything bounces, she gets removed, and they're not going to make the automatic payments for her. That's pretty standard, I would think. Thank you, Sarah. This is not rent or car payment because there is a lump sum amount that is going to the same place. And if she's paying $1,700 a month for that car, okay. I mean, I don't even know what else to say about that. So going back to the bankruptcy, okay. We have an outstanding debt of $47,000. $47,000. I was thinking, no, Mrs. Jones, there isn't. That's all she put up on her community tab. Poor, broke. I really don't think it's the car payment. Now, here's what this is also speculation. This has no evidence, no proof at all. This is just my thought. Exactly, Paige Prox. I was thinking the same thing. It's really not that much money compared to, if you lose your house or go into foreclosure. So I was like, all right, she would have to make this lump sum payment for her bankruptcy because she's been blowing it off for 7 years. And they want to see that she's actually serious. Like, are you really going to pay this off? Because you've been blowing us off and not filing your taxes, so we don't even know how much you've been making the past few years. So I'm like, all right, let's just say that she made a lump sum payment of $5,000. And I just picked that amount, like randomly, okay? No basis for anything, okay? $5,000. That would, subtract that from $47,087. That would be $42,087, right? Let me pull up my calculator. We'll keep it simple. We'll keep it simple, and we'll just put $42,000. Okay, $42,000. Okay, divided by 1,700, the monthly payment. Do you know how many months that will be? It's 24 months, 2 years, which is how much they give you to pay off your second bankruptcy. Oh! Da, da, da! So, okay. It's possible. Thoughts? Do you need to see the numbers on the screen? Sometimes I do. I can't necessarily do that in my head. Very petty, I know. It's okay. Well, I have my spreadsheets, so when you have spreadsheets, it's easy. Did you, witchy woman? Da, da, da. But again, I have no evidence of that. There's no proof of that. The $5,000 I literally pulled out of the sky. But I was like, it just seemed like a decent amount. Like it's more than 10% of the total. No, it's not almost paid off because she just started making the payments. That's so ridiculous. As if we're like really solving cases over here. We're not. Because she just started making the payments. She just posted this on her community tab like a month ago or so. And she said at some point somewhere that she had already made a couple of payments and that it was going to be paid off in no time. And I was like, no, it's not, because you pay $1,700 a month. You owe $47,000. You made a lump sum payment of an amount. We don't know what that was. I guessed $5,000. That brings it to $42,000. If she's paying off $42,000 with $1,700 a month, that's 24 months. 2 years of monthly payments of $1,700. And they give you 2 years to pay off your second bankruptcy. I don't know when the clock starts because this bankruptcy was filed in 2018. So you would think, you would think she would have had to start making payments right away. But she didn't, I guess. But she didn't file her taxes. So Canada didn't know how much extra money she had that she was able to pay.
We don't use the air fryer for frozen food always.
Dastardly Deeds Kung Fu Fuckery tipped $2 through Super Chat. Chantal, you just got nestigated. Collision emoji.
Thank you, Dastardly Deeds. Thank you very much. That's right. You just got nesticated. Dun, dun, dun.
Pizza flavor? Pizza chips. Get out of my town.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Dastardly Deeds. Yeah. So again, I don't know, but that's the information that I have. That's what I have. Let's see. She's only making the payments and trying to clear this so she's no longer in active status, which prevents her from sponsoring someone. Exactly. More coffee, please. Exactly. Yes. She'll never be able to sponsor anybody if she's bankrupt. She's bankrupt. And didn't file her taxes. But that's what the attorney's theory was. Maybe that's why she didn't file. She's making $20,000 a month. You could probably pay off that $47,000 pretty quickly. Not still in 2025, you're still owing that amount. That's crazy. Mogwensia, that is also what the attorney thinks. Is this the reason she had to go to the Capitol when she was last in Canada? That's what she thinks, yes. Because she said she's been in the courthouse and watched some of these things happen. And she was like, oh, we'd probably be joking about this woman came in here, in 2018 wearing a zebra dress and talking about she can't pay her bills. And now she's back wearing an abaya and a hijab. Talking about, I want to pay it now. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That's the exact reason she has never produced merch for her channel. Can't hide the income. Interesting. The payment paper? Yeah, just me. That was something that she provided. I didn't have that information. She put that on her community tab. That payment, this thing. She provided this. I have no idea what it is. Or why she even put it up there. She was saying that she has to pay a certain amount. I don't even know. She felt the need to justify what she pays per month for some reason, but the marriage certificate is private, I guess. Again, she's not really eligible for health care in Ontario. Seriously. There you go. I wonder if she has started the visa process filings in Canada to bring Salah over, and this is one of the hiccups, I'm sure. And this might also be why Salah is losing patience with her, because I heard her say around this time, a month ago, that she has made 2 payments. So she still has a good 2 years left to pay this off. So he might be losing patience. Chickadee says that's just the bankruptcy. If she did not file her taxes for years, there is that in Canada. Can you bankruptcy tax debt in Canada? So the trustee one of their responsibilities is to make sure that the taxes are filed for the bankrupt. So her filings should be caught up and may have been rolled into this amount. That's the thing. We don't know what that $47,000 actually includes. It doesn't say anywhere to find out. What about the morally bankrupt? They're helpless. They're helpless. They cannot be reformed at all. I remember people snitching to her last tax person that she was making a lot of money and she was pissed. Maybe that's why she stopped going to them. Could be. Yeah, and if she were to go back to Canada and get a regular job and be on a company's payroll, they would be reporting that to the government so they would know what her income is. But with YouTube, they don't report that. You have to file it yourself independently. So she just chose not to file. You're not going to know how much I make. Yeah. She also showed that she made 2 payments. I hate that I remember this. Right, more coffee, please. I remember that too. Yeah. So she's not close to paying it off. I don't think he'll make it another 2 years. I really think these payments now, eating a lot of her income, he won't have the motivation to stay with her. Yeah. I wonder if he even knew about this. Probably not. You can't include taxes or debt that has already been court-ordered judgment to pay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. She recently said they were sacrificing their money for the future. Odd choice of words for what they would normally be saving. Yes. Yep. Do you have to report Cameo income? I guess that's why she's pushing for it hard. I don't know. Well, you have to report all of the income, any income that you receive. But she may have been trying to sneak around that. I don't know. That's all theory and that's all speculation. All of that part. Yeah. So that's basically it. That's the information I have on that.
And